Hey y'all, Rick Sky here. Welcome back to another Timepieces for Tomorrow video. Now I am in a new studio and I apologize. I had a delay. I had to set everything up. Had to get the acoustics and the lighting correct. Had to get the HVAC unit, where people across the pond may say HVAC. So this live show is going to be all about the wristwatch industry. Also, we're going to have a little bit of rum and raccoons. That's right. I've got a raccoon camera I'm going to be setting up. So we'll talk about Rolex, we'll talk about rum, and we'll talk about raccoons. So on the wrist today, I've got the Rolex 114060. So the industry has been a little bit weird. Jake, welcome aboard. Are Maya, McKenna, and Katie here also? If you don't know Jake is a long-time subscriber and long-time supporter of the channel. And he's also famous for the Terry Peppers foghorn video. He turned all the viewers on to that, and that's a huge accomplishment. Jake says, hey, I'm here. Hopefully I can catch the stream tomorrow if it's at 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, 8 is when he gets off work. Yeah, I'm going to try to make these streams consistent now. I got the studio, 250 square feet of acoustic goodness, and I did have a brown recluse problem. So I've still got a hole in my arm right there where one bit, and it left a scar, man. Those things are nasty. So if you see me looking around my studio, it's because I'm paranoid there may be a brown recluse lurking to try to strike. But, one of the things in this studio, I was very careful about the color. I wanted something that was very easy to see spiders. Knowing that I have a brown recluse problem, I wanted to make sure I could see the spiders. Our little gift to show support of the channel. Awesome. Oops. Hit the wrong button. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. And for all the viewers out there, your best form of support, you can tune into the live shows, you can comment, you can subscribe, share with others. Now, I'm here on Our Skies Adventure Channel, and this is Timepieces for Tomorrow. Timepieces for Tomorrow is a new show that I've started. If you're interested in wristwatches, if you're not, it's actually a very popular topic. Now, I didn't create Timepieces for Tomorrow just because I wanted to go after the algorithm, as people would say. I'm not chasing the algorithm, but it's something I've always been interested in. And Jake says, be careful. Bites can cause gangrene. Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, necrosis of the skin. Brown recluses can rot the skin. But yeah, I became involved with wristwatches back when I had the first real wristwatch I had was Omega Seamaster 300M, the James Bond watch, one of the James Bond watches. And then I found Archibald Chesterfield III, AC3. And I kept running across his videos, and I learned a lot. And then I started, in the Caribbean. I'm in the Caribbean a lot, picking up various wristwatches. It's easy to stick with Rolex. But the reality is there's a lot more out there than just Rolex. Now, part of what I'm going to talk about within this live stream is the recent, and a lot of people say the bubble has burst. A lot of people will say the Rolex bubble has burst. But, if you're an investor, if you're a wristwatch investor, you may be a little bit concerned. But the collectors are actually celebrating the potential burst of the Rolex bubble. So if you're not familiar with the wristwatch industry, essentially what's happened is that throughout the past few years, and it really surged hard in 2020 because a lot of people in 2020 were confined to their home office and whatnot. So basically what happened is that you saw a surge in the what they call the gray market, the secondary market for Rolex wristwatches. Historically, circle back 10 years or so, you could buy a secondary market Rolex for a deep discount. Now, you didn't get the manufacturer's warranty. If it did come with a warranty card, it's probably not honored. But, it was risk. Now, what's happened recently, the secondary market, the gray market, the gray market dealers are selling Rolex above retail. And part of that's because if you go into a Rolex authorized dealer or a Rolex boutique, they're probably not going to have any inventory. John S., welcome aboard, sir. Good to have you here. I'm glad to be back. It's been, I had to get the studio built, and it's been a ride. Dronalton, welcome back. Good to have you. Good to have all of y'all here. This is huge. Now, what I am going to do, and this is something new for the channel, I've got raccoons, actual raccoons. So I'm going to set up another camera. I'm going to go plug it in. And I'm just going to type it in here so y'all tell everybody. Be right back, setting up the raccoon camera. And this is not a joke. I'm actually setting up a camera, and you are going to see wild raccoons come to the camera. So let me go ahead and plug that in. I'll be right back. Okay. So I apologize if this is not perfect, but I've got, you can see here the raccoon cam. Actually, you can't see it yet. I'm about to turn it on here. So we got the raccoon cam here. Let me flip us over to the raccoon cam. You'll continue to hear my audio while we watch the raccoons. Now, I apologize if the camera angle is not perfect. Now you can see over there, there's kind of like a ball type object. The pronounced area is a ball type object. And behind that ball, there's a raccoon. Now I'm going to turn a little bit of light on, and I'm going to get some hot dogs for the raccoons. So we're going to see some live raccoon action. This is up here on my mountain. I've got a ton of raccoons. Frank5 says, coincidence, I seen the Seamaster 300M in person today, blue dial, never expected to look as good in person with that bracelet. The bracelet on the Seamaster 300M, that's one of my complaints. I like the new vintage-inspired Seamasters that have the very nice tapered bracelets. I tell you, bracelets is good. If you look at the Speedmaster Mark II, that is a phenomenal bracelet. Now, my solar lights are about to come on, so we're really going to see these raccoons. Sun is setting. We're going to see these raccoons really pop into action here. But I'm going to get some hot dogs, and we're going to feed the raccoons. Yeah, Drolton, this is quality content. I appreciate it. Like I said, my solar lights haven't kicked on yet, but they're about to. And it's actually funny, this raccoon camera that you're seeing, and I'll have to get a USB charging cable, which actually I've got one. I just need to plug it in, because see, you can see and I intentionally left the battery life and recording duration thing up so I can know how much battery I've got. This is kind of a test, and it's going to be interesting to see how long this GoPro will do this HDMI out, and will the GoPro overheat. Now, what I'm going to do now is flip on a light and see if it makes the quality a little bit better. See, there's lights down there in my raccoon area that are going to kick on that are solar powered. So that may be enough light. I'm afraid if I put on the porch light that I may drown it out. But let's see how that looks. I'll be right back. Jake says, careful, though, raccoons can be nasty and can carry rabies. You're exactly right. So I've got to keep my distance from the raccoons. So let me make sure my door's shut. Hold on. Oh, that actually helped. Yeah, that actually helped. So what I did, I turned on the porch light for the raccoons. And now what I'm going to do is the solar lights ought to come on in a minute. And actually, I've got a light that is portable. I could actually use to illuminate the raccoon dining area. So maybe I ought to turn that on. And yeah, this is interesting. Now, can y'all see? You know, everybody's got different monitors. I'm looking at it. It looks pretty black, pretty dark. You can see that white bucket. Okay, there's a light that just turned on, one of the solar lights, and the others are about to turn on, and then we'll get some good, visuals of these raccoons here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let me go check the lights. I'm going to get some hot dogs, and I'll be right back. Jake says, for everyone else here, it's a good idea not to let your small pets out at night without supervision, since if hungry enough, coons will eat small pets. Yeah, raccoons are hungry little critters, man. They will definitely eat a ton of stuff. That's crazy. My GoPro already powered off. I guess it's because I don't have the USB power attached to it. So let's do this. Let me get my USB cable out of my drawer, and I'm going to plug it in, and then that way we've got power to the GoPro. And then this is going to be really cool. I think we're going to get some really good raccoon action here. Let me see. Let's see. So yeah, so the secondary camera works. So everybody that's curious about how I set it up, so I've got about a 50-foot HDMI cable, and that's running between my ATEM Mini Pro and the GoPro. Now, what I don't have, again, right now connected is that USB cable, USB-C, to the GoPro that'll provide continuous power while the GoPro does HDMI out. I think I've got a setting in it. If I don't push the buttons, I think it'll set off. I think I may have set it to 5 minutes or so. So, you know, that's correctable. But ultimately, I just want to run the GoPro on a continuous USB power source while I'm doing these raccoon live streams. So we're gonna fire it back up here in a minute. Right now, what I want to do is talk about since this is Timepieces for tomorrow, I want to talk about the wristwatch industry. So, you've seen a lot of people out there. There's a lot of channels. Obviously Archibald Chesterfield III is the original. He's the best. Nobody can compete with his content. Surprisingly, there's a lot of channels that have actually surpassed his channel, or a lot of wristwatch channels that have surpassed his channel from a pure metrics perspective. One of those channels is Jack and Bark, and there's another channel, it's Watch Gringa. It just makes you wonder how those channels grow so quickly. Now, granted, they put a lot of time into their production quality, so that speaks a lot. But it's interesting to see these newcomers in the wristwatch space that create YouTube channels and how rapidly they grow. So Frank 5 says, you don't wear your Panerai much. Actually, I wear it quite a bit. The PAM 112, being a 44 millimeter timepiece, it's a little bit larger. Now, the reason I don't wear it as much is that even though the straps on it, as you know, Panerai, that's what makes Panerai great. You can change the straps out. Even though the straps are easy to change and I've got a ton of strap options, I've got very few rubber straps. And most of the time I wear it, I've got a sailcloth with a blue stitching that looks really, really nice. But it's got a leather inside of it. So, it's not something I would want to get, I wouldn't want to swim with it. I wouldn't want to shower with it. And for that reason, most of the time, I've got that PAM 112 on the sailcloth strap, which isn't suitable for swimming. So typically I'll wear the Rolex or the Tudor Black Bay 58 or the Tudor Black Bay Chrono, just because of their exceptional water resistance properties and because their own stainless bracelets. So I find myself wearing those a lot. I do wear the Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 2 a lot. I think it looks great. I think it wears great. But the one thing with the Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 2 that you may not realize if you haven't owned one is that the loom on the hands is very, very underwhelming. But in the daytime, it looks great. But at night, when you see the loom, it's like it just cheapens up the effect of the wristwatch. Otherwise, it's an exceptional wristwatch. Breitling should have paid more attention to the loom. And I mean, that just, to me, that seems like a gross oversight. Frank 5 says, what are your percentages of wears on each of your watches? I would say the one I wear the most is a sub 114060. Just because at 40 millimeters, it's a good size. I can wear it anywhere. I've got wristwatches that from a financial perspective that cost a lot more than the Submariner, but it's just the overall fit, finish, durability of it. You can wear it with a suit, you can wear it to the pool, you can wear it to the boardroom, and you got to be selective. Some places you wear it. If you're out in a sketchy area, you probably don't want to wear it. That's the disadvantage to it. It is pretty recognizable. I mean, even people that don't know wristwatches, they see a Submariner and they know, oh, that's a Rolex. That's the disadvantage to it. The advantage to it is that I would say from a wearability perspective, from an overall durability, and just in the fact that it likely will continue to appreciate in value, not that I care about that, but I think it definitely is the perfect wristwatch. Now, it does have a lot of stigmas associated with it, so it's not a watch that I would say if you get one and done, I don't know if I would necessarily go the Submariner route, but I'd say I wear the sub about 60% of the time, and then I just rotate. I'll wear the Super Ocean Heritage 42. I'll wear the Ulysses Nord Maximarine Diver. I'll wear the Panerai Pam 112, the Tudor Black Bay 58, the Tudor Black Bay Chrono. Admittedly, I don't wear the Omega Seamaster 300M that much anymore, and part of that is because I don't like the bracelet. The Seamaster 300M on the stainless bracelet is that non-tapered kind of goofy bracelet, and it in your mind, when you've been wearing such as this, the 114060 Oyster bracelet, you get used to that, and you don't want to wear an Omega Seamaster 300M bracelet. And maybe I'm weird about that, but I mean, it's a great wristwatch, but it's just that, and I don't know. The ones that I don't wear the Seamaster 300M that much, and I don't wear the Breitling Super Avenger, not the Super Avenger 2, but the Super Avenger 1. I've got it on the Pro 2 bracelet, but I've also got some leather straps, and I don't wear it that much just because it's so big. It's about 47 millimeters, but it's not necessarily the size of it. It's the fact that the Breitling the Super Avenger rather, even though it has an acceptable stated water resistance, the problem with it is that it does not have screw down pushers. So even though it has a stated water resistance that would suggest, oh, you can swim with it or whatever, you don't want to. I've had that thing leak twice. Fortunately, the 2 times it leaked, it was covered by the Breitling International warranty, had it serviced free of charge because I wasn't abusing it. I wasn't using the pushers underwater. It just leaked. And, I got it repaired both times free of charge, but it was a disappointment to have something with stated water resistance that didn't perform. So for that reason, since I can't take a shower with it, I can't wear it in the pool, it doesn't get as much wrist time. That, and it's really big, but I'll keep it. I mean, it's cool. I mean, the thing is with, as with wristwatches, the trends change. In the past, bigger was better. If you were around 40 millimeter wristwatch, it was small. I mean, this is 40 millimeters, but now 40 millimeters, I would say 39 to 42 is about the perfect size for most people. And, there are people with tiny wrists that don't want to wear something as large, and that's fine. But yeah, I'm going to get this Raccoon camera set up, and we're gonna do some really cool Raccoon live streams. I'm getting the adapters so I can plug it into my tripod, and yeah, and I'm gonna get that power cable so I can do so I can keep it charged while we're doing the live stream, because I can power it back on now and it's going to come back on. But I need to adjust the timeout on it. So, yeah. But yeah, that's my goal here. Do a lot of timepieces for tomorrow videos. Again, it's a great hobby. It's if you know what you're doing if you go after the quality, and it's not the manufacturer. A lot of people wristwatches, they get so overly consumed. They become so overly consumed with the brand, and they think that, if they buy the brand, that everything they buy is going to be fine, and it's going to be a winner chicken dinner, as Archibald Chesterfield III may say. The reality is, just because it's a certain manufacturer doesn't mean it's a quality timepiece. And now Rolex is kind of an exception, because pretty much everything Rolex puts out, even their Cellini, their dress watch, they're well made, they're popular, and they often continue to appreciate. Now, I don't think we're going to see this rapid price appreciation on the secondary market like we've seen in 2020, but I do think that if you stick with the core references from the leading brands, from the leading manufacturers, I think you're probably going to be pretty good. Now, obviously you look at a brand. Patrick says, just bought a PRX Auto and I'm loving it. Yeah, the Tissot PRX is a very well-executed timepiece. And, it's interesting you mentioned that, because Tissot is one of these manufacturers that, they're really going in. I'm not saying they're going up market to where they're going too up market, but they're filling that void, because right now, in the wristwatch industry, we've seen brands like Omega and Rolex just go through the stratosphere, and it's putting a lot of collectors out of the game because they're just becoming so expensive. I mean, it's clear that Rolex, for example, is trying to become Patek Philippe status. And then, of course, Tudor inevitably is going to replace what Rolex once was. And Tudor is not cheap. So, it begs the question, the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, might they release a tertiary brand that comes in at a lower price point than Tudor? And a lot of people laugh at me when I say that, but mark my words, I have a feeling there's a third brand about to emerge from the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. So if that happens, remember, you heard it here first on Timepieces for tomorrow. I'm not, it's not wishful thinking. It's just it makes sense. I mean, they've got to be able to appeal to all different, they don't have to, and obviously they probably don't even need to because of their profitability, but the business would suggest that they would probably need to create a tertiary brand to be able to remain competitive across the board. So, but yeah, Tissot is one of those brands that's really making a big. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it, making a very big statement. I mean, with a PRX, exceptional piece. You look at a PRX, the immediate thing that comes to mind is like an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. That's when you look at a PRX, that's immediately what comes to mind. And that's as that's a very well executed timepiece. But the Tissot PRX you can get for an approachable price, whereas the Royal Oak, for what it is, it is the Holy Trinity. Holy Trinity, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin. Those are the three Holy Trinity brands. But Tissot with the PRX, they have done something that is really impressive, and they've done it at a price point that it still stings. Don't get me wrong. To buy one, it's still going to sting a little bit, but it's still accessible from a price perspective. You can save up some cash and get it. That's the thing with a lot of these wristwatches now, that they've just become ultra price prohibitive. And I understand that. Some of them, they're gearing those towards collectors. You look at Rolex, for example. What is their entry level timepiece, or Oyster Perpetual? It was back in, was it 2020 or 2021 when they released all the different color Oyster Perpetual dials in 40 millimeter. One of which was the light blue color that they said, it's Tiffany blue. That thing on the secondary market, it's like a $5,000-ish U.S. wristwatch. And on the secondary market, it's trading upwards of $30,000. It's ridiculous. That just goes to show the perceived value of the Rolex. It's let's see. Frank says, Irish guy, you should remove the ads from the live stream. It keeps throwing me off. Dude, the ads, what I need is super chat. So if everybody out there is watching, if you want to super chat, it's a great way to support streams like this. admittedly, I've got to monetize because I got to get paid to do this and buy my equipment and all of that. So, there will be ads, but as more super chats start to come in and as I get to have these streams more frequently. And by the way, how's the audio and video quality? I should be streaming in 1080p 60, and the audio, of course, is coming through the Rodecaster Pro. And so far, I haven't seen or felt a brown recluse. That's what's kept me out of the studio for a while, because I had it built, and I just kind of had to. I've gotten all the cardboard out. There's no cardboard in here to attract brown recluse spiders, but something I use pine sol. And allegedly, pine sol, the scent or maybe something in it, it tends to deter insects, including spiders. So I'm gonna get in the habit of mopping in here every few days or so to try to keep the spiders out. Patrick says, very true. I'm still in the lower tier, but still so many pieces to enjoy down here. Good. Talk about I appreciate the audio and the video. Patrick, that's the thing, and where a lot of people within the wristwatch addiction, they kind of steer themselves in the wrong way. There's a lot of people that are in it for the perceived success. It's a status symbol. So, dude, I got a Rolex on my wrist or whatever. And those are the type of people that probably, even if they could afford, wouldn't go with the Vacheron, the Audemars Piguet, or the Patek Philippe, because those brands to the mainstream are not as recognizable. Whereas they're the Holy Trinity. They're actually higher on the horological scale than Rolex. Rolex makes a great watch. I'm not bashing it. But a lot of people buy it for the wrong reasons. And there's nothing wrong with buying. It's to last a lifetime, several lifetimes. It's a great timepiece. But there's nothing wrong. Don't tell yourself that you're in a lower tier, because actually you're at an advantage right now, because what you can do, you can explore the various references. You can own multiple types of wristwatches. Maybe you get into complications. Maybe you get into, whatever your collection addiction is. Maybe you want to do all stainless. Maybe you want to do all dress watches. Maybe you want to do all sports watches. Maybe you want to do a combination of sports and dress watch. Maybe you like moon phase complication. Maybe you like no date timepieces. Maybe you want timepieces that have an exhibition case back. Maybe you want manual wind. There's so many avenues that one can pursue to keep the hobby interesting. And that's the thing. If you just stick with what you think is popular, then that's good if you like what's popular. But if you don't, you're just buying just to create this, I don't want to say false image, but you're buying it for the wrong reason. If you're a wristwatch collector, you're buying what feels good on the wrist and what you enjoy and what can lead to the next acquisition. You get something with a GMT complication. Well, you've scratched that itch. Now you need a moon phase. You got the moon phase. Hey, you need a power reserve indicator. There's so many things you can do as a wristwatch collector. So don't fall into the habit of not getting what you want to get because you feel like you got to get something else. Now, not every wristwatch has to be an investment. A lot of people are into it just for the potential, the investment potential, and that is and that's kind of a weird thing, because people get into that and they're passing up things because they're like, well, I'd get this, but if I get this, I know it's going to they assume it's probably going to go up in value. That's a positive. If there's something that you like, say there's 3 or 4 wristwatches and you go to an authorized dealer and they've got all 4, and maybe one of those 4 you feel that it may have excellent appreciation. The others are probably not. It's often better to buy the one with the potential appreciation, because if you fall out of favor of that wristwatch, you can probably sell or trade it potentially for more than you paid for it new, especially if you're a stiff haggler. Now, the thing is, now with the wristwatch industry, in the past, it was easy for me to walk in a swim trunk that was dry, swim trunks that were dry, a T-shirt, and haggle and get a good deal. I mean, I got this from the authorized dealer at a discount. Now that's tough to do because they have next to no stock. And they know that what they do have, they can sell at MSRP without a problem because they know that the only other way that people can find is on the gray market. And the gray market at the time of filming this, the prices are typically way above retail. So, yeah, haggling's kind of thing of the past, but, you know, it always feels good to add something that may have the potential of appreciation. Because if that happens, if you ever decide to sell or trade, you can probably exit pretty easily and probably make a profit, and then you can use that profit to move into other timepieces that you feel are more enjoyable at that point in time. Again, it's all a matter of personal preference. And interest can change. I mean, you may, today or for the next 5 years, you may enjoy dive watches, but then you may look at your rotation and say, hey man, I've got, too many dive watches. I need a dress watch. But if you're all dress watches and you go to the beach or the pool, what are you going to wear? So, there's a lot of, there should be a lot of emphasis upon choosing a balanced collection. So with that, I mean, you need a dive watch, at least one. And that would be the one I would get first. You need something with a GMT complication. I still don't have a GMT. You need something that's a dress watch. You need a beater. And beater doesn't imply that it has to be cheap, but beater just means that it's made to take a beating. I consider this Submariner a beater because it's made to take a beating. Ceramic bezel, shouldn't scratch, shouldn't crack, shouldn't fade. I can run into walls with it, whatever. And there are subtle scratches, but the sapphire is still pristine. I consider this to be a beater wristwatch. Now, one that would be the Jaeger LeCoultre. I got a Jaeger LeCoultre, and that's not a beater because that's a dress watch. It doesn't have a screw-down crown. It's not meant to be swam with. It's not meant to take in the shower, but it is more delicate than my Breitlings or my Rolex or Tudors, but it's good for what it is. And the fact that I got it on a stainless bracelet instead of a leather strap, I can still wash my hands with it and not have to worry too much about water getting in there. But yeah, I mean, PRX, dude, that's a huge, as AC3 would say, winner, chicken dinner. I mean, that's a great acquisition, man. You should feel good about that. But I mean, obviously don't stop at the PRX, keep going and going and going and continue to add to your collection, because that's the beauty of this addiction, is that there's always something new. And to the outside observer, new doesn't necessarily mean anything to them. But if you're a collector, you notice the subtle differences. You look at somebody that's got a lot of dive watches. Well, what's the difference? Well, one of them may have a date. One of them doesn't. One of them has a power reserve indicator. One of them is a manual wind instead of an automatic. I mean, there's so many subtle differences that can be added to a collection. And that would be my best advice. I mean, keep it. Brad, welcome aboard. Brad, long-time subscriber and supporter of the channel. Deeply appreciate it. What do you think about this drone that's coming out tomorrow, Brad? Frank 5 says, that's really true. Patrick, Hamilton, Tissot, Seiko's got some low-key fun pieces to switch around, but you always need that luxury upper tier forever piece. Yeah, you got to have that. You got to have that at least one high-end piece. And again, high-end subjective. For some people, high-end may be Rolex, or some people, high-end may be Tag or Omega, Breitling. But for some people, high-end may be Vacheron Constantin or FP Journe or something like that. I mean, there's so many things. Brad says, new DJI drone tomorrow. Brad says, buying it first thing. I've heard from some people it had good reviews. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to be on the ball in the morning to see what it brings to the table. I love my DJI Mini 3 Pro, but I'm gonna have to see what they bring to the table when they release it in the morning, and I may be leaning upon you for a recommendation as to whether or not it should be bought or not bought. But we'll see here. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about the price point, where that new DJI drone is going to come in, price wise. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, Brad really liked his DJI FPV first person view drone. Yeah, if you like that, I think this one's probably going to be a major upgrade. I kind of disappointed people with the Raccoon cam. What I just did, I just ordered, while I've been doing this live stream, I ordered a little mount for my GoPro. And actually, I probably need to order a USB-C cable. I'm just going to get a long one, man. Why not? I'll just go ahead and order one. USB-A to USB-C cable. And this way I can keep the GoPro continuously powered on while it's filming the the raccoons. Let's see, 10 foot, that's pretty long. 3 feet, that's not long enough. 6 feet, no. And there's a 10 foot. USB-C charging cable. Wow, I get 3 of them for $12.99. Thing is, I don't need 3 of them. It's funny, man. These USB-C cable, 2-pack of 3 feet. Nope. There's a 10 foot for $7.99 with a coupon code. That's what I'm going to search for, a long USB-C cable. There's got to be one. So I've got one in here, but I don't want to take the one out of my studio and get it dirty, raccoons can have rabies and all that. And this is the camera that'll film the raccoons. Let's see, 10 feet. Here's a 15 foot. That sounds about right. Yeah, so, raccoons, Rolex, and rum. Actually, the rum tonight, I'm just doing just a basic rum, but it's a good rum. Cruising from St. Croix. Can't beat it. I mean, you can beat it. I mean, it's a quality rum, though. It's not a cheapened up experience. Now, favorite rums, I really like, I've got some Appleton Master Blender's Legacy, and I haven't opened that yet. I'm going to open it once I hit, 100 million views. I'm going to do the Gosling's Family Reserve Black Seal Rum from Bermuda, but not until I hit 100 million video views. So again, subscribe, ring that bell, and help me grow, and super chat and all of that, because that really helps me grow, and I got to get to that so I can open that rum. But let's see, USB cables, 15 feet. I almost think 10 feet's almost long enough, and then I'm like, it's just barely too short. So, yeah, I think, wow. There's a 2-pack of 10 feet, but I'm just afraid 10 feet's not long enough. So I'm going to have to give that some thought, because, yeah, this Raccoon cam, it powered off because of the battery. Well, let me go out there and plug it back in. Let's see if I can get it back on. I'll be right back. Let's flip it over to the Raccoon cam. I'll be right back. Well, that was disappointing. This is my Raccoon camera. And see, I've got the correct GoPro mount coming, but my GoPro, and I've tested it in the studio. I had it on, let me see if I can get this out here. And then I'm going to hook it up because they're out there eating and growling at each other. So this will be some good raccoon content. Let's see. See if I can plug this back in here. Got this stuck. I kind of retrofitted a GoPro mount. Because I didn't have the exact type mount that I needed. And again, it's coming. I kind of screwed this together in a haphazard fashion. So this is my own fault that I kind of sort of got this stuck here. Let's see. It'll come out, but I'm still going to hook this up even without my tripod mount, just so y'all can see these raccoons. Kyle C. says, thoughts on the Christopher Ward Sealander GMT. I don't want to sound offensive when I say this. I like to sew. I've never been and I like Longines, but I've never been a fan of Christopher Ward. Again, nothing wrong with it, but it's just not. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's one of those things, there's so many, in my opinion, and it's all subjective. You know, there's nothing, you know, your opinion and my opinion, everybody can have their own opinions, but I think there's a lot of better options out there at that price point. Let's put it that way. Got this in the media mod housing. Ooh, I got it out. Okay, so I'm going to stick it back in the housing here, but what we're going to do, we're going to restart the GoPro. I'm going to see if I can get this thing. I'm just going to put it up on a chair out there so you can see these raccoons. I'm not making this up, man. They're all over the place. And they're growling at each other. So it's prime raccoon time. Let's go ahead and flip this. Is my battery exhausted? No. Okay, 83%. Now I'm going to flip this camera over, so it's going to go black for a minute. But what I'm going to do is come back with the raccoons. Here we go. Bear with me. Raccoons are coming. Hold on. I'm going to turn the audio. I'm going to turn the audio on the camera on, and then that way you can hear the raccoons here. Let's see. They're going to be on camera 4. Multi-view, camera 4. We're going to turn audio on. Okay, audio is on. So here we go. Here's George Cooney right there, see? Hey, George Cooney, you got visitors. You got YouTube guests, man. You're famous, dude. See, he's right there. Hey, George Cooney. George Cooney. You come over here to the camera. Yep, so see, there's George Cooney out there eating. See, he's eating with his hands. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to get this mounted here. See, if I get it higher up, you can really see he's eating with his hands right now. Now his friend's going to come up, and his friend may come over here. We'll just see. You know, I am aware, because you're right, these raccoons can have rabies, so you know, we don't want to become exposed to rabies. But see, there he is. He's walking around. He's searching for more food, and he may come up here. A lot of times he'll come up here on the and see, he's going to come through the grass. Now what's interesting, when he gets in the grass, he can be right up in front of your face, and you not realize it until he stands up on his back feet. So that's what George Cooney will do. There he is right there. No, he said, I'm going to go over here. Yep. So he's eating his stuff. But yeah, I'm going to get this mounted so that we have, now another option right here would be a pole mount. If I mount it on this pole, we could get some good perspectives. Like if I mounted it right here. Actually, that's probably a good idea if I mounted it there. Comment below if you like this angle. I'm right beside the pole, and I'm filming him while he's looking in the bucket. He's got a bucket out there. So here comes the other raccoon. See, there you go. That's not George Cooney. George Cooney is the fatter one. This is, let's see, they're going to get into a growling match. Crank up your volume so you can hear it. Here they go. He's going to get mad. He ran him off over there. See there, he's coming up here. He may stand up. No, he went back in the woods. He's over there. I don't know if you can see him with the, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to the studio. I'll be right back in the studio. So did the raccoon camera show up, and could you hear the audio? I flipped it over. Hope it did. Oh yeah, it actually did. Wow. Yeah, so I've got to work on my raccoon camera configuration. Let's see. Cal C says, by the way, the Eat Cheap videos are hilarious because you're always reaching into the bag with a Breitling on. Yeah, it's interesting. Bart Simpson says, I wear my Vostok Commander ski when I change the oil in my car. There you go. It's a good use case. Cal says, can only see darkness. Camera have night vision. Actually, you know what I need to do? I need to work on the... that is an issue. Actually, what I'll do it when it's not quite pitch black. I'll try to do these shows when it's closer to sunset, and then that way we can see. Because you're right, you can't see them. I mean, I was talking to the raccoons. George Cooney was out there, and then the other raccoon who I got to come up with a cool name for, but they let's see. Hold on. I'm going to plug something in here. Be right back. Whoa. I'm going to plug this in so it can charge. Coming back. It's pretty cool. I put my camera on USB mass storage mode because I'm importing some videos here. Let's see. I did there's a brand called Puma, and I'm assuming you've probably heard of them. Actually, I wear a lot of Under Armour. That's kind of my favorite athletic brand, but they actually Puma, they kind of did me wrong, man. I got trying to think of the best way to put this. You'll see the video, but yeah, Puma basically got some shoes for jogging and walking, and the soles are kind of falling off. And I've only walked around, maybe 5-6 miles in them. I contacted them on eBay. They kind of blew me off. Contacted them on the official Puma Facebook page. They also blew me off. I called their toll-free support number. They seemed very interested. They were super friendly, and they told me they would follow up within 48 hours. They never called back. So I've got a pair of tennis shoes. I got it at a discount from Puma on eBay, the official Puma store on eBay. They're uncomfortable. They're falling apart. And at tops, I probably got 8 or 9 miles in them. I told them, I said, these aren't new. I said, I'm not going to try to send back a pair of walked-in shoes and claim they're new, because that's not how I roll. But I'm also not going to accept the fact that I bought a pair of your tennis shoes and they're subpar, way subpar quality. And I mean, that's unacceptable. So yeah, I've got a video coming about that. And then also Subway has a new promotion, and it may not be everywhere, but Subway has a promotion where you can pay, I think it's $15 US, and in eligible locations, you can get 50% off your subs for the month of September. So, that's kind of an interesting concept, and I'm excited to see what y'all think about that video, and, would it be something that you would do? I mean, we've been to Subway. I mean, it used to be pretty decent, but I'll admit now, I mean, it's like most everything else is too expensive and the quality is subpar. But I'm pondering the idea of doing that. And within that video, you'll see I kind of break down the financial opportunity, if someone chooses to pay for that promotion. I mean, basically, and you'll see the video where I break it down, but if you ate Subway exclusively for the month of September and you pay that $15 for promotion, about how much it might, might put a dent in the billfold. So, just kind of a cool thing, man. I'm going to put up, since I've got this screen up while the camera's syncing, I'm going to put up a better screen here. Let's see. So that right there is actually Meads Bay. I filmed this video of Meads Bay in Anguilla. Anguilla is it's just a short boat ride or a propeller plane flight from St. Martin. It's a nice, very nice beach. Actually, that point down there, it's kind of interesting. Justin Bieber, that singer dude, he rented out that house, and he was there and hanging out on Meads Bay. And I don't know who he was with, but he had his bodyguard out there and all that stuff. But, yeah, that's Meads Bay in Anguilla. So Anguilla's really cool. British West Indies, the BWI, cool island. Speaking of that, I think a lot of the travel restrictions, at least with the Cayman Islands for sure. I got an announcement from them, and it looks like the restrictions for traveling there, if you're unvaccinated, have probably been lifted. So that's kind of cool. So I'm hoping that trickles down to all of the British islands. The British West Indies, the British Virgin Islands. I know we've all got our own opinions about that, and I respect y'all's opinions, but I chose to not get the vax. So I've kind of been in a confined state from a travel perspective because I chose not to do that, and it's kind of put a dent in my travel. But the good news is, having a dent in the travel, I've been able to build this studio, Irish Guys Adventure Channel Studio 2.0. I've got the Raccoon camera that's about to be refined and put into full effect. Speaking of the Raccoon camera, I'm going to check over here, see if I've got a cable that's long enough. If I don't, I'm just going to order one. It was funny. I got so much junk, man. I got so much junk, but I don't have a cable that's long enough for the Raccoon camera. So, question is, do I buy a 2-pack of 10-foot, or do I buy a 15-foot 1-pack? I don't want to spend much, but I guess if I get super chats, it'll help to pay for this cable. $8.99 US. That's not too bad. I want it in a bright color, though. 15-foot USB-C cable. That is what I need. 15-foot USB-C. But I do want it in a bright color so I'll see it in the dark. There's a 2-pack. Oh, $8.99, 15-foot. It goods extra long USB-C cable. That's what I need. I've already got a wall charger. I can use that. Yeah, that'll work. $8.99 US dollars, man. Not too bad. Not too bad. $7.99. What's that? That's black. Black will be hard to see. It's easy to trip over that, man. You're going out to check on the Raccoon camera and you trip. Not a good thing. Let's see here. Did you hear about the DJI Action 3? Actually, I haven't. So what are the rumors surrounding the DJI Action 3? I did like Osmo Action was pretty cool. I did a lot of driving videos with it in St. John, and it performed really well. But yeah, right now I'm using the Hero 9 Black. I didn't upgrade to the Hero 10 because it's basically just a faster processor. But I think what would be really cool with this Raccoon cam is if I put, what I could do, I could put the GoPro in the studio. Yeah, there we go. I could put the GoPro in the studio, and then I could put the Sony Alpha camera out for the Raccoons because the ISO on that Sony Alpha camera is really good. Brad says it's going to be like the original action. You know, it's funny that DJI did that because with the with GoPro, for example, GoPro had the original GoPro, and for a short period of time they had the GoPro Hero Session, which was just a cube. And actually, it's weird. I like the GoPro Hero Session, and I did a lot of kayaking in St. Martin with it, and it was a cool camera. It's funny that GoPro abandoned that, and likewise DJI kind of went back to the bread and butter, which is a standard form factor. Yeah, I'm thinking about picking up an additional. I'll have to see how the super chats go, but I'm thinking about picking up another Sony Alpha camera just to dedicate to the Raccoons, filming the Raccoons, because that's going to be cool. But we got to be able to see them. And to your point tonight, I mean, it was too dark. I didn't have enough solar light to illuminate the Raccoons, so that's not going to work. It's going to have to be dusk. Dusk would be fine. But see, a lot of times they like to eat, but they like to eat when it's somewhat dark. So, to be able to get the clarity that we deserve for the Raccoons, it's going to be tough to do. So, I may pick up a Sony EV10 or ZV-E10, which is it's an APS-C camera, E-mount, but I could use my Sony FE full frame, but it would put it in get a Sony SV1. Let me check that out. Sony SV1. I'm going to check that out right now. Sony SV1. Yep, SoCal Seth, we're live. I was downloading some footage from my camera, and I'm about to switch it back on. It's 95%. So I just put up this beach scene, and that's Anguilla, Meads Bay. I just put that up just to kind of have filler. I did have the Raccoon cam, but I didn't have my long USB-C cable, so I didn't achieve the results that I needed to achieve. So I'll have that corrected. I've got a USB-C cable coming for that, and then I'm also going to have the let's see. What I need to do, I need to plug in Smart Life smart plugs for some lights. I need to get those. I need to turn all my lights into, I'm not going to say the word because it may wake your device, but that A-word device, so that I can control everything with voice. Okay. Yeah, it's almost downloaded. I'll go back on the, let's see. Let's see here. Okay, actually that updated, so now I can unplug the camera. Hold on. I'll be right back. There it goes. So I'm back on the camera now. I love this ATEM Mini Pro. It does a good job with the audio and the video and just all around, just a good experience. Now I got to find these smart plugs here. I'm going to wire all my lights up. Let's see. Smart Life app. There we go. There we go. Hybrid Life, Hybrid Life. Dude. SoCal Seth. Yep, we're still live. I've just been flipping around the cameras. Hybrid Life, man, you still in the wristwatch game, or you kind of pivoted, or what? Haven't seen you. Well, I say I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't done a live show in a while because I've been getting my studio ready, man. The studio version 2.0. So it's been a big work in progress. Let's see, Smart Life. I'm ordering smart plugs for my lights. That's what I'm doing. Because, see, the value add of that is that I can tell if I've left my lights on in my studio. And it just makes it, let's see, makes it easy to manage. I'm trying to see if these are, yes, there we go. I try to use all of these smart plugs. They work with your A-word device, but they're all cheap. Let's see, $20 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. So it's $5 a piece. These with a 20% discount will be, let's see what I got here. I'm going to go to my cart. Okay, 20% discount. There we go. Okay. I was trying to be smart about my upgrades. So basically what I've done everything in LED. And some of the bulbs, like in my studio here, everything is LED. And it's... and I can control them independently. I've got Wi-Fi enabled bulbs. But the rest of my LED strips, they're standard light plugs. But what I'm going to do is put I'm going to say the word, but the A-word device smart plug in the power plug. So I can control them with my voice or the app. The value add of that is if I leave the lights on, I can see in my app that I didn't turn all my lights off. LEDs are energy efficient. But, dude, every penny counts, you know. Hybrid Life says, Soul Guy says, I've got one of those bugs in my house. Hybrid Life says, in the wristwatch game, heavy. Let's get back to doing the watch live shows. Try to get some traction this winter. Yeah, no doubt. Hey, I've got the studio, man. I got 250 square feet right here. Our Skies Adventure Channel Studio 2.0, very high end. We definitely need to do that. Let's get some big shows going. I've got the quiet space. I hope the acoustics are good. I hope the lighting's good. This is the new studio, and I'm no longer in that little, the place where I was. I mean, dude, I maximized the lifespan of that studio. I outlived not just the studio, but the residence where the studio was based. I mean, it was just, I'd outgrown it, outgrew it, but now I got something bigger. So, Donald Johnson says, Irish guy, where is Loudmouth Tim? He's probably trying to fix, doesn't he have that ceiling tile, leaky roof or whatever? He's probably still trying to fix that. SoCal says, I get the convenience. I guess I'm old school. I don't need listening devices everywhere. And you know what? That's funny. That's what a lot of people say. They kind of stay away from these A-word devices. and other devices because they feel that it's always listening. And there is some truth to that statement. And, the truth is that it is listening because it needs to recognize your voice to perform certain functions. The funny thing about that is that I've been in several situations, and I'm not going to say the A-word device, but I'll say Facebook or now Meta, whatever you call it. There's been a lot of conversations I've been having, and I never Googled anything, or I never searched anywhere for anything, didn't even load it up on Facebook. But, people were talking about a restaurant, just kind of like an obscurely named restaurant. And sure enough, later that day, I get on my Facebook, and what pops up? A suggested ad for that obscurely named restaurant far, far away. And I can't think of any way that could have appeared unless there was a listening device that overheard our conversation and then embedded the suggested advertisement. So, that was a weird experience. It doesn't necessarily frighten me because I do enjoy the technology. I mean, ultimately, I don't think that anything is private, and I don't think, and I'm a strong advocate of personal privacy, but I don't think that anything is private, in this digital world. I think everything is pretty, it's scary. I mean, pretty much everything is out there. So, it's, I respect your opinion, and I think it's kind of disgruntling when you think about things that are listening to you, and you encounter situations where you confirm that things are listening to you. But with that being said, I'm from the school of thought that I think, this technology is so cool and so convenient. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe I'm letting all of this into my place, and I shouldn't. But, just the convenience of being able to, for example, with the HVAC system, heating and cooling system, being able to set a geofence, and then being able to say, if I'm X miles radius from where I am, to in the summer make it warmer in the house, or in the winter make it colder, to save money. That's awesome technology. But it does track you because it needs to know where you are to be able to change those HVAC modes. SoCal says, I get the convenience. I guess I'm old school. I don't need listening devices everywhere. SoCal says, bougie and proud. Nothing wrong with that. Donald Johnson says, when is your next appearance on AC3? Actually, I joined Archibald Chesterfield III tonight. But the thing is, he was, they're doing the live Brisbane tour or whatever, so he had to do that. So I wasn't on there long. I was hoping, but again, I've got to see how many super chats I get between now and then. I was hoping to fly up to New York City and attend the, AC3. He's coming to the United States in October. I'd like to do that, but I'd like to, again, I'd need super chats to do that because I've heavily invested in upgrading the studio. I mean, I've got, 9, 10, 12 grand worth of upgrades in this studio, US dollars. So, it's been a big investment. So I don't have the disposable currently to attend some of those networking events that I should be able to attend. But, who knows? I mean, a lot can happen between. Hybrid Life says 100%. Let's connect soon, brother. Yeah. Hybrid Life, shoot me an email. And seriously, I tell you what, we'll link up. If you want to try to do something now, tomorrow I can't. Tomorrow is Thursday. Maybe Friday or Saturday evening. Just let me know. Shoot me a message, and we'll try to get up because I'd like to hear, number one, the state of your wristwatch collection, and then also, what are you planning to add? Is there anything you're planning to let go of? What do you think about has the bubble burst, or is this a fake burp? And that's an interesting conversation right there, because a lot of people are like, man, the wristwatch bubble has burst, the Rolex bubble has burst. I want to hear your opinion because I got my own opinions about that, just like fuel prices. A lot of people are like, man, yeah, fuel's going down. Let's see what happens after November. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that are, that are open for discussion. But yeah, let's get up. Let's do that. I'm going to end this live show. It feels good to be back in the swing of things. It feels good to to have everybody tuning in. I've got to clean this out. I've got to get some pine saw in here to get to kill some of those straggler brown recluses. And once I have that, man, I can confidently come down here and get in the studio, do these live shows. Hybrid Eye says, for sure, lots of interesting things to talk about. Fuel will quadruple in the next 2 years. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the bad part is that we'll talk about it during the next live show. So thanks, everyone, for your viewership, your likes, your comments. It's been fun. Look forward to a lot of live shows. Let's get these live shows up to hundreds of viewers like Archibald Chesterfield III. Tune in as a live guest. Shoot me a message and tell me you're interested. The best way to get me is the Irix Guy page on Facebook. Aiden says, thanks, Irix. Thanks to all y'all. Appreciate the support. Sorry this is short. Honestly, I was playing with my Raccoon camera tonight, trying to get that set up, and I did, but I didn't get it set up like I wanted to, and I kind of got distracted and didn't have. But yeah, the next show, what we'll do, we'll put the GoPro in the studio, and then we'll put the Sony Alpha. It'll be the Raccoon camera, so we can make sure we've got all that Raccoon camera captured in excellent quality with a high ISO lens, so we can pretty much see in the dark. So yeah, thank you all so much. Thanks for the support, and for everybody out there that hasn't subscribed, be sure to do so. And when you do, ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.